Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't get it, but it is what it is. So we'll, I guess, try to bear with it for now, and hopefully it doesn't.
Yeah, I think the stream just got back online. I'm not sure how much I missed. What did I miss? What
Honestly,
did we
not too much.
miss?
Some nice item progression
Dire's
coming out
bottom
from both
tower
sides.
is under
The
attack.
Lone Druid actually got a Radiance for himself as well. Mushi's picking up a BKB as we speak. But otherwise, it was just a smoke ink that failed because it fell on a Invis rune from the Shadow Fiend, and there is a one-for-one trade in the mid, a Nature's Prophet for Crystal Maiden. So not really all that much. Still, Alliance, I would say, are favored as the game progresses, but Malaysia have the tools to make things happen now. With the BKB online, if they start kind of creep cutting with the Spirit Bear and forcing with 3 or 4 heroes, then I do think they have some real potential to push into the tier 2s, but they have to be cautious about their positioning.
Yeah, positioning is key, and I guess vision comes to mind of that as well, which is
Hmm.
actually something that I feel like Team Malaysia is kind of lacking right now. They've got some
Yeah,
counter wards up, which, you know, doesn't really offer any vision, but that's all they have. Oh, wait a second,
yeah.
that one is hidden by a dire ward. They do have one on the bottom lane, on the high ground next to the Roche pit, which is, I think this ward is great. I mean, it's maybe a little bit too great, but
Ooh.
overall,
Oh!
no hex, oh,
And they're
shot
gonna go right
going.
back in.
Yeah, Net is gonna be the target, and I don't think that Rabonic was realizing how many people were here exactly for Team Malaysia. Finger of Death is not gonna kill off Bulldog though, and the song comes out. And this is, I would think, the time to get away for Alliance. I'm not sure if they can take this fight like this. And actually, they're not sure either. They're gonna back off. Was it fast enough though? Chessie getting chased down by the bear.
Wait up.
But no fight is gonna continue here. Nobody actually died, but this is about how controlled the teams need to be. Whoa, Misery has to be careful here. One disable. Here
Oh.
comes the Force Staff helping him out.
The
The
Force
bear
Staff,
still
though.
chasing. Paralyzing Cask as well. BKB on for Mushi. Has got that Requiem of Souls. Will get ensnared though. And the rest of Alliance is still just getting away. I say the rest, but it's actually everybody who's still alive. Actually doing the work with his level 3 healing ward.
Dire's structures are fortified.
But still nobody dies. The control from both teams to not overextend at any point is just amazing.
Yeah, they have some really good counter synergies between the two teams. The cogs are really good against the Spirit Bear now that it has a mana pool in 6.82. It bounced it back like 3 or 4 different times there and just couldn't get in on target as far as what it wanted to right click. As well, it was very thoughtful for, oh, actually, Bulldog, again, the Force Staff saving his life. Third life saved
Yep.
from that single Force Staff in a minute's time.
That is pretty impressive, and just good timing on that pickup as well. More Force Staffs though is needed. We have Misery have his own as well. Got that of course because he has a Hanamitis, so he actually is farming quite decently right now. But I'm still. You mentioned it earlier. Ticking time bomb. Naga Siren is still ticking away, and if you compare Naga to the Lone Druid, which in this game is fulfilling the same role, I mean, first of all, of course, KYXY is not farming half as fast as the Naga Siren is. But imagine a fully decked out Naga, fully decked out Lone Druid. Who would you put in favor in terms of like very late game?
I mean, obviously you've got 12 item slots to work with, whereas the Naga has to swap items from the core warrior, like the Refresher Orb and maybe Necro 3s and stuff like that. So it's difficult. I think the fact that the bear has mana now gives him a few more options. Maybe a Mjolnir bear and stuff could be great. I think for now, the Naga is able to farm faster because she can spread her aura across the map a little bit more. But I think the Lone Druid could honestly take her with the help of the Shadow Fiend's aura. It's also worth noting that the illusions are pretty well under control by the side of Malaysia. Net has both the Hex and the Mana Drain to kill off an illusion each, and Extinct does have the enchant as well. So they have instantly can kill or take away 3 illusions from the side of Alliance, and that means the Manta style is the only way that Loda is actually going to keep the illusions up in the fight.
Yeah, and he is building towards that as Alliance is going for a smoke gank. They don't have Loda here, but they would fight 3 on 4 if they actually find a fight here. They end up going for the bear, which they should be able to get. 300 gold going the way of Misery because, you know, he is in need of more gold apparently. But that's of course a big deal because, yes, Lone Druid is not doing bad or that bad on the net worth, but if you kill the bear, that is most of his net worth basically gone for a while. He hasn't got a resummon, but if they would kill it again, that would be a big deal.
Yeah, most definitely. It does get up there in numbers very quickly, and the items that are on that bear while it's dead are pretty much useless. They're dead gold. So for a hit now, he's got casually a cloak picked up on himself. Actually,
Oh,
Misery
Misery, I'm
getting
not
caught
sure.
out.
That was, yeah, that was Net's force staff, or someone forced him out before he could force staff himself. It was actually his own force staff by the looks of things.
Yeah, it was Alliances one way or another. It might have been Bulldogs actually this time around. Maybe he didn't coordinate the direction he should have been facing, but he
Yeah.
just got thrown right into the frying pan there.
That was a bit unfortunate, though. I'm not sure if she would have lived anyway. Well, with 2 force staff, she probably would have actually, because we've seen that happen before. Fair enough, it's just a Crystal Maiden. They are gonna go in though. It's Musha that they want. The BKB gets popped, and it's Bulldog stuck in the cogs. Force staff out. Witch Doctor ultimate in the cogs, doing quite a bit of damage. Not enough to get a kill going their way though, but can they at least kill off a bear? Is the question here. Viper Strike used on him as well, as the illusions chase the rest of Team Malaysia away. The song coming out again as well, actually. Teleport out happens from the Lone Druid, so he's not going to be there because his bear is not there. Net and Mushi here. No BKBs this time. Mushi teleporting out. Can they stop that from happening? Nope, they cannot, and that is going to be a support for support, if you want to call it that way, like including the Crystal Maiden across the map.
Yeah, I think that the ensnare could have come out from Loda to cancel out the Mushi TP, and that would have been a huge win for them. But as it is, it's just a nice movement that cost them a few ultimates, but they're going to need more on top of that if they're going to feel like they have a really good structural foundation for going into the next phase of the game. For now, though, it looks like they're just going to get a couple of right clicks on the tower, and those illusions will be cleared up very, very quickly by the side of Malaysia. So they're actually chasing Misery down with his own allies illusion, burning away with the Radiance a little bit, and yeah, that's really the only Radiance they had before the Bear Resummon came out. But yeah, in this position, I think that Alliance need to really look to control the Roche Pit next. Malaysia are starting to get bigger with their item builds up. We're going to see an AC come out on the Spirit Bear, and AC Aura plus the presence of the Dark Lord being maxed out. It's a lot of negative armor going the way of Alliance, and it's only going to take a couple of right clicks for heroes like the Crystal Maiden and Witch Doctor to be dropped down.
Yeah, and with that comes the problem that Alliance doesn't really have a typical AC carrier, because normally you would want to have an AC on your side, AC and Vlad's, just to get your team some extra armor. But as said, like, who is gonna build that? Do you want that to be on your Clockwork? Probably not. Maybe the Vlad's on your Clockwork, or support to go for the Vlad's. It's basically oh, that's gonna be Ohio in some trouble. Frostbite coming out as well. Easy kill, going the way of Alliance. Nice pickup. But yeah,
Just closing in the distance, and yeah, it's going to be an issue. I think Vlad's casually would be a nice pickup for somebody like Admiral Bulldog, but he's obviously committed to this Aghanim Scepter, so he just wants to have the chase potential, the initiation tools, and obviously the potential this ultimate brings in terms of disable and damage. So it's an okay decision, but it's not ideal when it comes down to how much physical damage they're going to be taking.
Tower is under attack.
and we are gonna see Alliance going for that Roshan, and they're looking to trade it for tier 2. At this point, it should be obvious for Team Malaysia that indeed Alliance is in the Roche pit, otherwise they would have tried to defend that. Looks like they just want to see how far they can get, because might as well. They have immense amount of pushing potential with that bear up here, so Roshan dies, and let's see how fast Alliance can get in there. The song is already going on, the tower is still standing. There is a cask. Aki positioning himself for the cask and for his ultimate as well. Also nice cogs to make sure that he is... oh, wow. That both Mushi and Net were stuck in the base, which I didn't mind because they were able to kill off Aki, who ended up not positioning himself all too smart. They do kill off the bear though, which is a good thing. New bear coming in. Hookshot coming in as well. KYXY is the target. Mechanism coming out, not enough to keep Gulakop alive. Finger of Death kills him off. They do kill the lone druid, but it doesn't matter that much. Mushi is just standing there, takes the Aegis away from Chassis, and tries to TP, won't be able to. Interrupted by the cask, and now Aki is here with his Death Ward, and that's gonna result into a 2-on-3. Aki was forced to buy back for that, but killing off the 2 cores of Team Malaysia for that, pretty damn good, but they did lose the Aegis for that, of course, as well.
Yep. So heavy exchange, obviously the tier 3 drop down, but the bear is actually not going to be available for 77 seconds here. He re-summoned it, and then of course got picked off at the end of that, so costly for them. And there's also a chance for them to bring down Extinct. That cask actually had a 50-50 chance of bouncing to either Extinct or to the Creep. And of course, RNG, it goes to the Creep, but even still, they get some really much needed kills, and they are going to be able to buy so much time for Loda from off of that. He's already got the gem to control the map for any ground level wards, and he's got this Manta finish. Going to be looking towards possibly a Butterfly next, and yeah, there's just so much that can be done with this hero farming this fast.
Yeah, it's gonna start to be scary, and for Alliance, at some point they want, of course, avoid fights because of what you mentioned. The armor difference is gonna be too big, and only Loda would be able to live because we just saw how fast Aki already died. You can only win a fight then if you're somehow magically like out positioning your opponent by a long shot, which at this level of play shouldn't be easy at all. So split push is gonna be the way for Alliance to end this game. Ratting, as people call it, it's not going to be very pretty, and at the same time it's going to be very frustrating for Team Malaysia to face. And I wonder, since yes they've played together, but how frustrated are they going to become? How much do they want to force the issue in terms of fighting? I mean, they just already, like we mentioned, they have a good pushing potential. They just took down the tier 3 tower.
Yeah, they don't want to go into a base race situation against Malaysia's lineup, not at full force. You just don't do that against a lone druid, the bottom line, and he's going to have this AC up very soon as well. But if they keep their target priority, keep Viper striking this bear and bringing it down, then there's some real potential for them to not even have to worry about that factor. Loda can BOT to a creep wave that's already pushing out as soon as they kill off that bear, and yeah, then it's going to be Malaysia that have to make that difficult decision. As well, we were talking about this a little bit more, but essentially with these 3 core heroes, Lone Druid, Shadow Fiend, and Nature's Prophet farming so much, it really doesn't leave much for the supports. Net does have a Blink Dagger, will work on Force to deal with all these hook cogs, but Extinct had to go for a Force Staff himself, and he's not going to be really contributing in an offensive aspect for a very long time.
Yeah, and that is something that I normally like about Enchantress, if she is able to do that, because she's not a hero that you can really nuke down very easily if you don't have any spells to nuke her down with, purely for the untouchable, of course. And then you would want to have something like an Aghanims or an Orchid or something aggressive rather than a Force Staff, which of course it can be used aggressive, but basically she has a Force Staff out of necessity for those cogs.
Yeah.
And that's a shame.
So Loda's going to be building up the heart first and foremost, getting a lot of nice HP on those illusions. We'll deal a little bit better with the magical nukes, but honestly, the illusions are still going to be instantly killed off by the aforementioned spells, Mana Drain, Hex, and Enchant. So honestly, I don't really feel it's that wonderful to have a high HP value on them, because it's just going to be more annoying to kill off your own illusion than anything else. Either way, it means that he still needs to work as quickly as possible towards that butterfly, as the big thing that he's dealing with right now is right-click damage. Coming in from Mushi, coming in from the bear, and in terms of single target, physical damage output, Malaysia still have Alliance beat.
Dire's bottom tower has
Another
fallen.
tier 2 tower to fall on the bottom lane. Alliance, I mean, they don't want to fight this. They do send out the cask rather, after the bear, but it's just harassment. They just want to buy time for that Naga to get really, really fat. While looking at towers, they're actually a bit behind on towers, so they might feel like they're slightly ahead this game because that Naga is so fat, but they're not really gaining any ground with it just yet. They still have to buy time for their team. The net worth slightly in favor of Alliance. I say slightly because at 32 minutes, 5k in favor is kind of neglectable. Experience graph, same story. It's only 2k in favor, so there is a smoke up for Alliance. They don't have a smoke up on the Naga, but it doesn't matter. Nice 4 staffs. Is it enough? It looks like it is. Not for Ohio, though, because he's stuck in the ensnare and ends up going down. Extinct still in there as well. Might be stuck in a frostbite in just a second. Misery has got it up again. Just needs a vision. Won't be getting that vision. And that is the Enchantress running away. Song coming out, though. Net and KYXY. Can they take them down? There is no bear. That is actually kind of a problem. The ensnare still coming out. In also comes the cast, picking up the Enchantress. KYXY stuck and dead as well. Mushi and his BKB. Can he make a difference? BKB popped by Jesse as well. They're gonna try and chase him down, and with the Viper Strike, not gonna run. He is down to 5 heroes dead, or they're all dead, as someone would name it. It's Alliance that wins this teamfight quite heavily, and I think that they just proved me wrong, saying that they would play it passive for a while, because they just went for it. Someone out of position, boom. Team
Exactly. And that's the strength of the clockwork, is always being able to pick off somebody out of position. The force staffs alleviate that to a small extent, but it doesn't nullify this initiation potential. And if it's not Bulldog, it's going to be Chessie to follow through with that very powerful Viper Strike that they can spam on short cooldowns, especially when Bulldog finishes his own personal ags. Either way, for now, the tier 3 will only be chipped down to just below half. The illusions aren't fast enough to secure it entirely, and they don't feel confident staying too far in Radiant territory. So they will back out from here on out, but they take a very significant win. They get over 2,500 gold uh, as far as their trophies from the kill bounties there, and they're able to walk away with their heads held high. They feel confident about how they can approach the next phase.
Yeah, I think so too. It's a shame that after you get a team wipe, that you don't get anything off the back of it apart from a tier 2 tower. But it's a moral victory, I think, as well, in most cases, just to prove that they are still ahead. And it is also very detrimental for Team Malaysia, because this way they're actually gonna be worried because they just lost a big team fight, and that means that they might play a lot more careful, meaning that they are not gonna get as much farm from the map as they did before, meaning that Alliance will get even more ahead, and that's when it starts to get real scary, because next time they'd lose a fight, they lose more than just a tier 2 tower.
And we do see some nice map control being exerted by the Geometry site on the side of Alliance. They're getting a vision control over the pit, and that means that when the Roche does respawn, that they might be able to get a little bit better vision because of Rocket Flare, and then make sure that, of course, Malaysia don't have any way to respond to that, any vision therein. But at least for now, it's going to be Lotus still farming the Radiant jungle as best he can, using the Radiance and Riptide to clear out those camps, and he is going to be moving in towards his next item very shortly. He has Quelling Blade and Bottle still to sell, and has a pretty open inventory slot as far as how he wants to progress.
A large chunk of gold as well, to be honest, with 4k gold sitting there. Chessie has got his BKB, which we already saw, of course, in the previous fight, which was his 10-second BKB. But he also is sitting on 2k gold. Curious to see what he's going for. He has, of course, got that cloak. Perhaps he wants to turn that into an actual pipe, which is not that ideal in this game. It would just be for the races and for potentially the Finger of Death, of course, as well. But mostly it's physical damage coming off from Team Malaysia. And I'm still thinking and hoping that perhaps they're going to go for a Vlad's or an AC. I really think that's what they're lacking right now. Some extra armor coming out for Alliance to help them out. Although previous fight shows that they might not even need that extra armor. As Bullock has got his items, he's going to be fine. Ooh,
Ohio on the top lane, just trying to be too active. This is kind of what you're talking about. Essentially, when they know that they have the potential to be picked off, they have to play it more carefully. They have to get less efficient farm across the map. They still can actually create enough space to kill off the mid tier 2, which is a pretty nice win for them. But at the cost of Nature's Prophet, this is going to be an opening for Roche, which is just spawning in a few seconds here. So they're going to scout that out with the next Rocket Flare, I'm sure, and they'll probably make their way there as soon as they if they turn up empty-handed on the bottom lane.
Yeah, Lions though with that kill once again comes to terms with having the map control just fully in favor of Alliance, and basically shutting down the territory, the farming territory of Team Malaysia as well. And with that, apparently also securing a Roshan, because with no Nature's Prophet there, do you really want to fight Alliance at this point for the Roshan? It would be very tricky. They have no vision apart from that one ward on the high ground, which is, this is such a basic ward that people normally have, that at some point you just stop counter warding that, because people don't place their wards there after, you know, minute 1. It's quite funny that it's still standing there.
Yeah, but just keeping the vision there, keeping understanding of everything that's going on about, and they're actually going to give the Aegis to Chessie here, so they want to keep him in the fight as long as possible. Loda kind of values his item slots a little bit more, and so as he gets this next level of farm, builds up towards that butterfly, he wants all the slots that he can work with here. KOXY does go for a Vladimir's Offering, so the item you were talking about, but on the other team, essentially they get plus 10 now, with the fact that they have the Vlads and the AC between the Spirit Bear and the Lone Druid himself. And that's not to mention the -5 and -6 from the AC and the President of the Dark Lord. So right now you're looking at a 21 armor advantage over Alliance, maybe 2 for Abassi. No, not even a Ring of Basilius. Okay, Ring of Aquila is on the Viper. So you're looking at 19 armor advantage team-wide for Malaysia, but as we saw in that last fight, it might not be enough, as there's still just so many better skills being used on the side of Alliance.
Yeah, with only one BKB that is effectively nullified by the ensnare. We do have Mushi maybe being forced into his BKB. A bit of a server lag coming out here, but he is trying to run, won't be able to. Ends up
Wow.
going down. Freezing Field helped out with that one. I see all the effects only after the fight happened, which is a shame, but that's a really important pick-off to get here for Alliance.
Yeah, the freezing field actually did 1,200 damage there from
Whoa.
Misery. Absolutely insane. The explosion
Radiant's
radius
bottom
increase is
tower
a
is
huge
under
buff to this
attack.
hero. And the ultimate, I mean, if theoretically it's a variable amount because of the explosions and where they land, but theoretically can do more damage than a maximum proximity Shadow Fiend ultimate. So a lot of potential here from Crystal Maiden, and realizes a very large portion of it with that last ulti. But either way, a great pickoff, setting Mushi back, and his BKB is actually down to 6 seconds, and those charges do not come back.
Yeah, it's scary for Team Malaysia. What would their plan be? Because not, like, as in not plan B, but plan B. Not A, but okay, well, what are they gonna do? That one. Because they can't really
Yeah.
fight 5 on 5 anymore. They have not got that strong of a split push, and they're actually gonna get forced to fight real soon. Nature's Prophet is pushing out in the top lane, might be able to get something in return, but if they don't fight this, they're gonna lose an entire lane of rack.
Yeah. Well, Drew does have 2 bears available, but he's going to have to commit them pretty soon. And as we mentioned, Chessie has the Aegis, so he could stay on the front line here with those 2 lives, with that BKB at 9 seconds, and feel very confident in himself here. They're actually going to get the Frostbite on the bear. No, bear number 1 looks to be going down, but they do get the Force Staff on it to bail it out, and they're buying time for Ohio to push on the racks. They just want somebody to TP home. If they can force anybody to TP defensively, they've held their high ground here. And Mushi looks to pursue, but not really quick on his feet.
No, the hook shot on from Bulldog on top lane missed as well, so nobody is able to engage anything that they wanted to. At the same time, nobody really loses anything, apart from the tier 3, which of course still dropped without really any fight being given there, but it could have gone worse, so I don't think that they should be too sad. But yeah, as said, how are they going to try and play out this game? It's just trying to catch out Alliance on positioning mistakes, fight upon that, and then push from there. And not even positioning mistakes, maybe also decision mistakes, as you mentioned. You can't really hope to go for, for trading against the Lone Druid. If Lone Druid is pushing, you can't really think to trade towers with him because he'll just push real fast. So if Alliance makes the mistakes of trying to push something with that, or trying to basically contest a push, if you want to call it that, then maybe they can win from that as well. But it's gonna get tricky, and more tricky as time goes by.
Really comes down to where Team Malaysia can go from here as far as items go. They have double damage stored up on Mushi, who has that dwindling BKB. It looks like he wants to go for a Monkey King bar himself, so he can deal with the Naga Siren and her illusions a little bit better, and he will actually buy out and fall for that. Risky business, as Mushi gets picked off once by like an Admiral Bulldog hook, and that's going to be sayonara for Team Malaysia and their entire base. But at least for now, they're just trying to hold the line chaos by trying to farm up. Right now, he doesn't even have tier 2 boots on either himself or the bear. Like, he's being blocked by creeps. He's not as mobile. It's really sad day for him, but at the same time, you can see why he's prioritized the items he has. Oh, Mushi.
Yeah, hook shot gets only a bear. Looks like that's going to be for Alliance. Still a reason to look for something. Misery, very aggressive in there. Has got that blink and force, so amazing initiation power. Something that I think a lot of people underestimate. Yes, she is a very squishy hero. But if she can blink in Frostbite and force staff herself out, that is a solid initiation with the Frostbite duration right there. As we have a smoke coming out for Team Malaysia. They find Bulldog, and they will be able to kill him off as well. In the meantime, Nature's Prophet is on the top lane. And because bottom lane is pushing in, there's no backdoor protection. He is able to go for the racks here. Fortification already came out. Alliance is trying to run back to base as fast as possible with the TP coming out as well, but it's too late. Still though, this is the ranged racks. They don't regen health, and it's half gone, so next time perhaps it's going to be gone in completion. In the meantime, Team Malaysia also not backing up. They're still continuing on with this one as Net tries to blink away, taking a lot of damage from the Viper Stripe, ends up getting picked off. Clockwork brought back into the game. Hook shots in, Crystal Maiden ulti as well. That is where Lone Druid was about standing. You might not think it was, but That was that bubble there
Radiant's
of
top
stones.
tower is
Yeah.
under
Yeah,
attack.
yeah. Underneath the giant mountain of snow that Misery just
Yeah.
dumped on him. That freezing field doing so much work. And with the Ghost Scepter, he doesn't have a way of stopping it. It's really only Lion that can counteract that directly. And they don't just have one channel spell to deal with, they have two. They have to cancel both the Witch Doctor ulti as well as the Crystal Maiden one throughout these team fights, and they just don't have the tools to do that without some really good Enchanted Creeps usage from Extinct. So in this position, they're very confident. They know that the bear dies through that fight, and he's going to be resummoned on spawn. So right now, Malaysia just have to delay it. They go for some split push play with Mushi's Illusions, and they try to keep Alliance out of the base, which they will succeed in for now.
Yeah, in the meantime, Song
Dire's
coming
bottom
out. They
tower
spotted
is
out
under
Mushi.
attack.
He has
Okay,
still
on
got his
top.
BKB. Yeah, Nature's Prophet is doing the work there. Perhaps Mushi can at least delay
Radiant's
delay
bottom
them from going in up on him. He will end up going down, actually. That is, he's not able to get Loda. He does do a lot of damage. In the meantime, as already mentioned, Ohio is already in the base. There is already the range Rex gone. Melee Rex do regen, so this shouldn't be too big of an issue. But killing off Mushi for a range rack, worth or not worth?
I don't think so. I mean, you can be theoretical about it in long term. Like if 15 minutes from now, that's the one thing keeping him in this game. You could say it's great, but right now it's just a little bit of push going that way. And losing Mushi now kills off his souls. He's back to farming, and Alliance just bought even more time for themselves. They've also proven that Loda can go 1v1 against a hero that, generally speaking, should be able to 1v1 most carries at this stage. But that harder to ask proves a little bit too much, even with the MKB. SF just couldn't hold it. And for those wondering why he didn't just TP away, the Ensnare was ready and waiting. Loda would have been able to cancel that TP no matter the case. And the bear gets picked off.
Yep.
70 seconds without the bear. That's even bigger than the Mushi pickoff.
That
That
is
is
gigantic.
absolutely immense.
That is basically the 17k gold net worth that Lone Druid has nullified. Well, it would only be 1400 because he's sitting on 3k
Radiant's
gold,
middle
but
barracks are under attack.
that is immense. This is a later Rex. This is not
100%.
something Team Malaysia can fight. And even if they would have everybody up and not the bear up, they probably still would not want to fight because losing a
Radiant's
fight
middle
in your
barracks
base
has fallen.
is going to result way more in than just one
Radiant's
lane of
middle
Rex down.
barracks
So they
has
have to
fallen.
give that up. Victory for Alliance, at least for now. And they back off. Smart choice as well. And for people wondering, there is my connection to China servers not that great, and unfortunately, this is not my internet, not something I can actually personally fix. The spikes. I think people normally have a VPN to China servers, right?
And that's, I mean, there's been a lot of that I've tried,
Dire's
but
bottom
honestly, there's
tower
no
is
sure
under
thing.
attack.
It's still a perfect world and connection
Radiant's
Ish.
top tower is under attack.
issue unless you've got some political links in China that I don't know about. It's very difficult to be 100% consistent with this server. But yeah, still it's watchable at the very least, and we do see some nice progression from Alliance from our vantage point here. Obviously, Loda is getting into very dangerous territory with the 6th slot here. Diffusal Blade 2 is essentially the only thing that he could possibly look to upgrade, and then it's Courier Dota from there. Maybe refresh over the
Jesse.
Courier, maybe the Necro.
He was hiding in the Roche pit. He's gonna pay for that one. Finger, that doesn't really
no.
end up doing that much though. BKB turned on in time. In comes the
Misery on the
song.
high ground.
Ohio
Oh my
and
gosh,
Mushi
that's
sitting in their
killed.
BKB. Misery. Oh my god, the positioning is just perfect. It is gonna be a fight that should be going the way of Alliance. If by some magical reason Team Malaysia is gonna be getting this one, that would be quite a big surprise for me, but we can't see that much because of all coming up. 2 buybacks already happening for Team Malaysia. 4 heroes have died, 2 have bobbed back. Naga Siren has not died yet, but is now running away to make sure that that ends up not happening. Crystal Maiden still got picked up by Ohio. Loda lives. Actually, the Sprout doesn't catch him, so that means that he's gonna live. It is a 4 for 3. Which is not that big of a difference as I thought it would be. Jesse ended up buying it back as well on his Viper, but I think you're gonna have to tell us mostly of what went on there because we have a lot of lags.
Yeah, well, and the end result, the experience in gold, it's honestly very close. Everybody got a little bit of experience there. 8,900 in favor of Malaysia, 8,200 in favor of Alliance. The gold gain, relatively one extra buyback cooldown from the side of Malaysia, the Shadow Fiend being the big one there. But as far as that fight breaking down, the 2 BKBs were popped at a very good time, so that Chessie's amazing blink freezing field to the high ground didn't actually like just completely destroy the fight. If they hadn't had those BKBs, obviously it would have, but in the end, it only just did a lot of damage to the supports, and then there was still some good right-click damage coming out from the SF. So they got some good kills out there. They kill off Chessie, who they, of course, were initiating on in the first place, and force him to buy back. But in the tail end of it, it was mostly cleanup, some dodging back and forth between Net and Misery. It was actually Misery that tried to finish off Net, blinking to the high ground, and died to a Mjolnir proc. So unfortunate for him. But yeah, it just was kind of shenanigans a little bit. Nagasiren lives throughout all of it, and overall, it's a bit of a wash as far as who came out on top. But some great plays from both sides, and I gotta love the use of the freezing field there.
Yeah, it was perfect positioning. It really looked like, from my point of view, from my Laggy point of view, that that Alliance had just perfect positioning, good control over the fight, and then they still ended up losing 3. And what you mentioned, those 2 BKBs were just well timed. That could have changed the entire game around, I think, or at least the entire team fight around if they wouldn't be popped at that time. Misery might be in some trouble
Actually,
right
Mushi in a bad spot here.
Yeah, but we are gonna see a hookshot coming in. Loda with the ensnare, and that is gonna be Mushi's BKB already gone. That's a 4-second BKB. He's not gonna make it out alive. The rest of Team Malaysia stuck by the song. KYXY gonna be the first target that they wanna go for. They should be getting him as well. The bear doing what he can to Chessie, but overall, KYXY is not gonna make it out alive of this one.
That's another lane of Brax. Mushi doesn't have buyback. He bought back in the last fight, and that was a critical one. Ohio will try to create space up top, but Bulldog's got his number. Misery's here too, but they have to hook him just to stun him and get Misery out. And now Bulldog's actually going to get right-click down, and this puts Alliance in the defensive. Loda can't push the base by himself, and what should have been a lane of Rax, Ohio is able to create the largest amount of space you possibly can and buy time for Malaysia to get back on their feet.
Disaster averted.
And he's going back in. He can go for Misery right now. He's considering it. Misery's in such an aggressive position here. He does have the Ghost Scepter, though. Does Ohio have the answer? He has a Force Staff in the trees right now. He's just going to farm out the creep wave and continue to force defensive play. Tier 2 will drop down bottom, but they aren't going to be able to break the base just yet. They want to force out a buyback. They want to take down the Tier 3, but they will not claim Rax from this alone.
No, they're with not enough people here, or at least unless maybe Team Malaysia makes a positioning mistake and end up losing their heroes here. We do have a buyback coming up from KYXY, and that's gonna force Alliance back. I mean, they're just 2 heroes. Can't really do that much, although they did attack the ranged racks a bit. So next time that should be going down if they're there with a bit more people, perhaps. But Ohio is proven to be a factor in this game that Alliance is having issues dealing with, to be honest. It was his 9-second BKB. He's sitting on 8 seconds right now. And once that goes down, that will, of course, make things a lot easier for Alliance. But for now, he is not one that you can just forget, because he is doing and a lot of damage. And his control of the map and of Alliance movement is actually really gigantic.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, though. Ake has a big channeled ultimate with his name right on it. With the bounces that can come through from the Agadim's Death Ward, there's so much potential. Right now, he doesn't have the Axe. He has the gold for it, but might choose a more conservative approach before the next fight. Ghost Scepter and Blink are tools that he doesn't have to protect his ultimate, to keep it safe from entangles or to get himself in the right position to use it. So it really comes down to Ake surprising Malaysia and just making sure that he can get the full duration channel off with all those potential bounces.
Yeah, looks like Alliance was the first issue. They're actually rotating mid with 4, rotating top afterwards, I would assume, considering they already have the mid lane taken down. Naga is taking the tier 2 on top lane. That will be no contesting that one for Team Malaysia.
Radiant's top
And
tower
looks like
has
they still
fallen.
want to try and go through mid and then rotate towards the bottom lane. Let's see if they catch the fight that they want to have. Loda on the front row
Radiant's
has, of course,
top
got that
tower
song.
is
They're
under
just
attack.
moving through the base of Team Malaysia. Why not? Fortification comes out. Team
Radiant
Malaysia still not
structures are
initiating this one. They
fortified.
really should soon, though, because they're going to lose their base if they don't do anything. Now they go in. But in comes the
Radiant's
song.
bottom barracks
Positioning
has
for Alliance is going to be
Radiant's
key
top
here.
tower is under
and they're
attack.
actually going to go for Ohio, who came in from behind. He turns on his BKB, though. He goes for Loda. The Sprout is there. Loda is stuck in this
wow.
Sprout. In now comes Aki with his Death Ward, but is it enough? It might be enough. Mushi taking quite a bit of damage. Not enough to actually kill him, though, as Misery goes down, as well as Net Still, Alliance not really winning the fight as hard as they would hope to. Buybacks all around, all the supports, as Loda still gets the Lion for the second time in a row. Is that actually the same one, or is that just a delay? That's a delay, because I was gonna say he didn't die again. Yeah. So it ended up 2-for-1. They did get the range Rex, though. It looked kind of weird. Like, just walking up, nobody doing anything to them, getting the Rex, moving out.
Yeah. Well, they're really afraid of what that can be possibly done with this combination of ultimates. The Songless Siren, the Freezing Field, the Death Ward. You have to kind of walk on eggshells around these different abilities and position yourself extremely carefully. But in the end, the hesitation cost them a Rax, might cost them another, as they're in just not a great position in general. Enchant is on cooldown. Extinct, dying to the illusions. Oh my gosh, drops down to 250 HP. First dodge the Death Ward, now very low to the illusions. Loda pops the song.
Yeah, let's
Radiant's
see.
top tower is under
I don't know
attack.
where you were watching, but I haven't seen that one. I think we're still delayed on that one. Ohio coming in from behind again, sprouting off Loda again. Can they finally do something and take him down? Bulldog is going to be the target first. He walks back. Ohio forced out into safety, perhaps, but Jesse chasing him down. One more hit needed. If Jesse can get it, that is going to be Nature's Prophet down. 400-second Mushi stuck here as well.
That's
Dead.
it.
Team wipe. Alliance. They're doing it, and they're gonna get the GG out of Team Malaysia. And I don't know how
Barracks has
normal
fallen.
people cast Chinese Dota with this server.
Dire's top barracks are
No, a lot of reconnects try to enable it.
that
but,
actually works, because I could have done that. I guess.
sometimes I have to restart all of Steam, all of Dota, but generally speaking, it'll improve. But
Okay.
one really cool thing that happened at the tail end of that last fight there was the Death Ward Aghanim Scepter. The courier literally brought out the Aghanim Scepter and got it to Ake 1 second before he channeled the ultimate, and it bounced through to everyone. Cleaned up the Nature Prophet on the back end, and really just did so much work in that fight. It was kind of what Alliance were building towards the whole time. It wasn't the clutch thing that won them the game, but 55 minutes in, they earned all the farm that they acquired to this point, and you got to respect a lot about Loda's early farm and getting 6 slotted as fast as he did, and really what Misery was able to accomplish on the support CM as well.
Yeah, solid game. A solid positioning. Naga never died. No problem. But yeah, it's a gamble that you take. You mentioned it earlier on already. You have got that ticking time bomb. If you're confident you can take it on, you can of course try and work around that. But in the end, it just proved to be something that they could not deal with. And then game over. Well, fortunately for Team Malaysia, it's a best of 3. So they're gonna get a second chance here. They're gonna see if they can force out a game 3 here. Alliance versus Team Malaysia.